avons l'uranium, nous avons le diamant, nous avons l'or, nous avons le pétrole. Et on vit comme des esclaves. Pourquoi? Jusqu'à quand? On ne pourra pas l'accepter. La base française du Niger doit quitter. On n'a pas besoin de Français pour nous sécuriser.
Vraiment, ils sont braves et je les soutiens. Vraiment, 100%. Vraiment, on a beaucoup souffert. On a beaucoup souffert.
Okay, welcome to One African Mission. So the video you just watched is our angry brothers and sisters in Niger who are so angry with the French occupation of Niger. Yes, we call it like that. It is what it is. The French occupation of Niger, and our people are calling on the French people, calling on France to leave their country alone, because they are sick and tired. They have suffered enough, as you can see from the video. They have suffered enough in the hands of France, new colonialism, taking away the resources of Niger, and yet the people of Niger are suffering and are being called the one of the poorest country, a country that is depending on aid. The European Union has suspended aid to France, to Niger. The Americans are threatening they will not aid them. Do we really need your aid as citizens of Niger? We don't need your aid. All that we are saying, we need our resources. Leave. You claim you are coming to help us fight terrorism, which in the first place, you created it. You created those terrorists to destabilize our country so that you will continue to be taking our resources for free. You claim you're coming to fight terrorism. You have military bases all over Niger. America has one of the biggest, America's biggest drone base in the world. It's in Niger. And yet, they could not use that to help us fight the so-called terrorists that they have created. So what are they there for? They are there to take our resources. France have military base in Niger, and yet they cannot help us to fight the terrorists. Why? Because they are not there to fight the terrorists. They are there to supervise the taking of our resources for free. And today, when we are calling on you to leave, you are threatening to send military to invade our country. Is it force? Is this not force? And this is the reason why we are calling for the unification of Africa. Until Africa is united, these people will continue to do what they are doing to us. If Africa is not united, and the children of Africa, please, the youth of Africa, let us stand up. We need to stand up and demand for the unification of Africa. The African Union, they need to start, the African leadership have to start talking about a united Africa. Because for some reason, they are not talking about it. We want to see a United Africa Summit. We have been to American Summit this year. We have been to Russia Africa Summit, America Africa Summit. Now we want the African Union to have an Africa Unity Summit and open it for the youth of Africa to come out and talk and speak about their aspiration and their vision for a united Africa. We want that. Because until that happens, until Africa is united, these French, these Europeans, these so-called colonial masters, whom we call colonial criminals, will continue to do what they are doing to us. We don't condone any military takeovers. We don't subscribe to any military takeovers, coup d'etats. But it has happened. And then we're not expecting West Africa, ECOWAS, to collaborate with France to go in and then destabilize and create another Ukraine in West Africa. Because this is what the French want to do. This is what the Americans want to do. Because the only way they can continue to take our resources for free is to continue destabilizing our continent. A peaceful continent, they wouldn't have this opportunity of taking our resources for free. How can a continent that is providing the world all the mineral resources it needs to sustain itself is being called the poorest continent in the world? These are questions that the youth of Africa we are asking, and our leadership are not waking up to this. And yet, They are talking about sending troops to go and reinstate the democratically elected leader. We're calling on the youth of West Africa and the youth of the entire continent of Africa to stand up and demand for a united Africa. Because if we are not united, these French, in their thinking faculty, they don't know what is fairness. That is the problem of the Europeans. They don't know what is fairness. Because with all the resources that France is taking from Niger, they could have at least think twice and said, okay, let us help Niger to come out of this level of poverty. Okay, but for them, the money that, or what they will use to help us as citizens of Niger to better our country, they would rather give it to their media houses to continue to portray us as negative and poor third world poorest countries. Because watching the Western media, all that they are talking about Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world. They are not telling you as to reasons why the country is poor. They are not telling you as to why France doesn't want to leave that country. Recently, Mali and Burkina Faso get rid of French troops. They moved them to Niger. What is it that they are getting in West Africa that they just don't want to leave? Mama Arikana has exposed these people to us, saying how these French-speaking countries, reserves are in the French national bank. So you go to get your own money, you have to pay. You have to go and borrow your own money to pay interest to France. They will build a bridge in Côte d'Ivoire, and you're gonna be paying tax to France for that. And yet, when the youth are beginning to wake up, the same youth who are dying in the Mediterranean Sea, and then you are giving money to Tunisia to drive them back to where they are coming from. When you go there taking their resources for free, and today they are demanding for a better life, you are threatening to invade them. And then West African leaders want to collaborate with them. The same civilian, democratically dictators who call themselves leaders. Because most of you are in office purposely because you are dictators. If you were not dictators, some of you, your tenure of office has expired. Why are you still in office? These are the things that are calling for coup d'etats. We don't condone any coup d'etat. But if you're supposed to stay in office for 10 years, after that 10 years, instead of you to move on and give power to somebody, you manage to change the constitution of your country, and then you think you are democratically elected leader, and then you are against coup d'etat. You are also a dictator. Please, West African leaders, do not join France to sell your own brothers for the good of France. Do not compromise with France and sell your own brothers. We have seen this before during colonization and slavery. Today, we don't want to be talking about it. We don't want to believe that some of our ancestors collaborated, compromised with the slaves, so-called slave masters, to sell our people into slavery. Today, it is the same thing you guys want to do. West African leaders, please stop it. Think. Before history, you will be in the wrong side of history. President Tinubu, you will be in the wrong side of history. President Akufo-Addo, you will be in the wrong side of history if you guys decide to invade Niger purposely because you want to save the interests of France. History will judge you harshly. History will judge you harshly if you take this decision. You said Sunday is the deadline for them to reinstate the President Mohamed Bazoum. If they don't do that, military intervention is on the table. Do not take any military action against Niger. History will judge you harshly if you do that. The people of Niger are sick and tired. As you can see in that video, they are tired of France taking their resources for free. Why? And calling them third world country, poor-stricken country, one of the poorest country in the, these are the worst, the negative energy they are sending to us as African people. We, this generation, doesn't want it anymore. We will not take it anymore. And African leaders have to realize that it is a new dawn for Africa. We thank you very much for coming around. Please join our mission. Let us all together fight for a united Africa. That is the only solution to our problems. Thank you very much for coming around.